Hi yogis, it's Steph. I had a few requests to do some handstand videos with you, and at first I laughed because I thought I am nowhere near an expert as some of the yogis on Instagram, but I was very humbled that you asked me to do that and that my practices inspired you to start some handstands yourself. So I guess this video is just some tools that I'm working on too. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but I'm practicing every day. I'm incorporating it into my classes too, and just getting some of that core work up to be able to hold handstands well. So I'll run through a few of those things with you now. Before you do any handstand work, before you try any of these drills, please do a bit of a warm-up yourself. A good bit of vinyasas, great. Some cat-cow, working on that Uddiyana Bandha, activation, really holding out the belly on your cat-cow. For instance here, really pressing the floor away, pulling in the belly, doing a few holds here, getting that abdominal work into action. Even some wrist warm-up, playing with the wrists, coming side to side, changing the angles with the hands, getting the hands really warm, little wrist rolls. If you've got a particular warm-up you do at home that's for upper body, great, get involved with that. And even a bit of hamstring work is essential too. So you might think it's all about the hands and the chest and the shoulders doing, you know, the pressing from the floor, but ultimately all inversions, like I explained before in my Pincha Rasa video, it's a whole body activation to get your legs up and to hold yourself up. So please be mindful, go steady. Remember, it's not going to happen overnight. I get frustrated myself sometimes, but you just got to remember that it's a day-to-day thing, and that's the whole thing about yoga. It's about the journey and about learning and being humble along the way. So I guess for handstands, one thing that I'm working on myself is the tuck jump. I really like this one because it gets you in a nice tight little package. You can work on sucking all the energy into your core and working on the hold. And it takes that element out of, you know, trying to get your legs straight up and trying to hold and, you know, all that kind of thing. It keeps your bundle tight, like a tight little parcel. So with all your handstands, make sure your hands are no wider than shoulder distance apart. Your hands itself, the first knuckle is the most important one to press down. You'll find that when the hands go down into the mat, if you can really press that middle bit down, press into the thumb, base of the hands, you'll really notice a difference in your balance. And then claw your fingers back in towards the set of knuckles, so little claw shape like that. So when you put them down onto the mat, you'll see that second set of knuckles lifting up. Press down into the first one, this one, on both sides. Drag fingers in, claw in with the thumbs too, and that's your base. You do the same thing with any arm balance, whether it be crane or Ashtavasana. It's really the main element to get you holding and keep your stability while you're up. So just getting your confidence to get the hips up with your tuck jump is the thing you want to start on first. So nice grounded into the hands. Press back, find your downward dog. Take a few breaths, let the chest draw back to the thighs. Really sigh out, empty the breath. And just work on coming forward and back a few times. Keep it simple, nothing too fancy. Ground down into those points I explained, high on the tippy toes. You want to look to about the tip of the index finger. That's where you want to send your gaze, and ultimately you pop the hips up, okay? Think little booty pop to get you up. Suck the legs together, squeeze them in. Think on tapping the heels to the butt. So gaze to that point, bend the knees, little spring, and down. Okay, do that again. Tippy toes, exhale, bend knees, inhale, tuck it up, and down. Okay, back and forward, do a few drills. Maybe catch the balance, slow down. Inhale, look forward, exhale, bend, inhale, tuck up, and So as you go, you might find that you start getting that momentum to hold. So the last couple there, I got a little bit higher and held it a bit longer. When you're going for the hold, suck the thighs together, toes together, heels into the butt. Keep looking down. Slow, lower down, feet to the mat. So that's your tuck jump. It may not come straight away, but working on that is the first part of your foundation. Second thing that I was asked to show was the straight leg pike. Now, that one is not too easy, but again, practice makes perfect, and just trying. It's all about getting the hips, getting the confidence to get the hips up. And think of it as a transference of weight. Little spring from the feet, transfer into the hands, pop the hips up and over. So sometimes when we jump into handstands, we do this, where we just throw the legs around, and then we don't really have any supporting foundation to hold us there, because the legs are like jelly, yeah? When you use the muscles effectively, activate your quadriceps, really point the toes, use the glute muscles, not only does it strengthen you from the hips, but it's also protecting your lumbar spine, and your lumbar spine is, supporting, all of that right in the middle. So you need to be super careful. The legs are important, because when you don't activate the legs, like I just showed, you go that wibbly wobbly shape, and you ultimately don't hold your handstand. When you're going for the pike, it is quite scary. I'm still learning it myself, and some days it works, some days it doesn't. Ultimately, you want to keep the legs again sucked in together, squeeze the knees in, squeeze the thighs in, big toes together. So thinking, if you're sitting down on your mat, take your legs out in front, you want ultimately this shape, but on your hands. So arms nice and close in towards the ears, keeping that stacking of the joints. So when your arms go really wide in handstand, you lose that support. Your chest will sag in between, you sag into the shoulders, ultimately crunch into the neck, and you've got something like this on your hands. Really uncomfortable and really unsafe. Some people think that, when you go a little bit wider and then shoulders away from the ears in handstand, that ultimately, you've got that big open chest and whatnot, but if you don't have the muscular structure to support it, it's generally not the safest idea. If you can think of like a gymnast handstand, ultimately that's kind of the shape you're going for. They're really lifted and pressed away. They've got a tight little shape. They're using all that core activation, which is your Uddiyana Bandha pulling in, Mula Bandha sucking up through the pelvis, and then you press away, lift up. So you've got that nice vertical line, and you're fully supported by the axis of the skeleton. When you go wide, what happens? You're unsupported, you sag, you fall out. Not safe. So think tight little bundle, press through the feet, lifting up kneecaps, quadriceps, glutes switch on, pulling in from the belly, pop of the hips, take it over the line of that gaze down to the fingertips, and that's your little pike shape. So we'll go through a couple of little drills, having a go. Again, same thing with the hands. Use that first index knuckle. That's the one you're pressing down in. All pads of the fingers, drag them in towards the knuckles, yeah? Base of the hand, heel of the hand, press down. Tap the toes, downward dog. Sigh out. Now it's a little hard to speak and to do it at the same time, so I might have a few little goes, but like I said, there's no judgment with it. You learn, you take your time. Floating doesn't come overnight. It's a strong practice. I know it's like super popular in the Ashtanga world. It's the foundation to their flow, and it will come with time as long as you really feel dedicated to working on it and trying there. So Come to the tippy toes, look to that point of the index fingers, squeeze the feet together. Think transference of weight to pop the hips to that line, keep the legs straight. And back. Take a breath. Or two. Inhale, look forward. And back. And then by a few more turns, you might find you get more momentum to hold. Or take it up. And down. Just keep thinking that booty pop. Send the hips, all at the hips. And down. Handstand is a lot about confidence and drills. Just keep working with the drills. You really need to get out of the headspace of, oh, I've got to be going straight, or I've got to be, getting, super perfect lines every single time. Try to throw that out the window while you're learning, because you really need to work on the foundations from the ground up and using your muscles appropriately. You will get the line, you will get more of a spring with more confidence, with more practice, and it is a daily thing. So from maybe about October last year, I really started doing handstand as a daily thing. Prior to that, I was doing it every now and then, and I would sometimes for my practice and sometimes not. To get the floating down pat and to get things slower and stronger, you really need to just work on the drills. Back and forward like we showed with your tuck jump number 1, and then going to your pike as your round 2 when you feel more stable in your tuck. The reason we just go small to start with is that once you feel more confident on your hands and you can hold for say like 5 or 10 seconds, then you can start like changing with the legs, maybe taking them up, working on the slow lower down. It's a lot of core activation, and it can be really tiring too. And don't get really caught up in the idea of, my friend's doing it and they're really acing their handstands, and yoga's all about the handstand. It's really not. But the way I look at it as that journey to help you with your core and just learn a little bit more about yourself. I guess that's the whole practice of yoga. So have a little go at those drills. A few good things to take note as well when you're going to do more straight handstand stuff. A wall is great. So drills for holding straight handstand, walking your hands into the wall in reverse, walking your feet up, and walking your hands in nice and close. If you're too scared to do it without a buddy, that's okay. Have someone there to spot you. We're working on pressing everything into the wall, sucking the lower belly in, hips into the wall, chest into the wall, head into the wall, legs together. Working on that hollow body, pressing away. When you're ready to come out, walking the hands. So that was your hollow body hold. If you just want something even simpler than that, if you're finding the jumps are really challenging, things like L shape at the wall is great. It's one of the things that I started with in the very, very beginning when I was learning to hold any weight on my hands, and that was challenging enough some days, so that's a good one. Take the hips nice and close into the wall. Measure the distance with your heels, so give a little rub into your mat. The heel of the hand will go there. Again, hand shoulder distance apart. Walk the feet up. Go for the little booty pop. Pop over the line of the shoulders. Feet into the wall, press the feet. Empty the chest to the thighs. Think downward dog at the wall. So this is giving you that shape to press away. Maybe take one leg up. And switching. Step the feet down. And other little drills that I often use in vinyasa in classes are just the little pops with one leg at a time. So really simple. It's similar to your little jumps, but I guess it's in a smaller range of motion. So we often go from, say, a warrior one, float the hands down, and go for your little handstand. So take the foot halfway on your mat, ball of the foot, so I've got the right side in front, left leg to spring up, keep that leg nice and firm, point the toes. Now you can't quite see it just yet, but we'll be nearly there. Look to that index finger, think pop the hips, spring on the right foot. You can use a wall if you're learning to balance. Step it down, little pop, and down. Keep clawing into those fingers. Maybe straighten the legs, or not. So all those little drills are super helpful. I hope the handstand video was helpful to you and it gave you something to work on. I don't have anything too fancy in terms of drills other than those. There's plenty out there. Loads of teachers have different ideas about handstands, and if you don't like my way of teaching, go and have a look at some other videos too. Like I said, practice makes perfect. Don't get too caught up in the idea of, being an ace handstand yogi. Things will come in time, and it's good to be humble about your practice. There's a lot of big egos out there, and being a yogi and living more consciously on the planet is about being humble and being kind to others. So not only use it in your practice, but use it out into the world. Hope you enjoyed my video. Any questions, pop a little message for me on the website or YouTube, and hope to see you next time. Thank you. Bye.